Moments with Morgan. Good morning, everyone, on this super soul soothing Sunday. Guys, the leaves are blowing. Fall is definitely in the air. And I'm feeling amazing to be alive. I'm grateful and thankful to be alive. We're going to have a little serious conversation for a moment. Let's see where everybody's minds and thoughts is. Teenage parenting. Yeah, that's a sensitive subject. Because here we are in 2023. We still have teenage parenting. And I was a teenage parent. Everybody keeps saying, you don't look like you got no kids that old. Yes. My oldest child is 32. My son is 30. And my youngest is 26. And I got 3 grandkids. 9, 8, and my sassy little 3-year-old. But I had my first child that survived at 16 years old with no guidance, no support, no wisdom, no footprint of how to be a parent. And for all those who are parents, mom and dads, it didn't come with no book. It didn't come with no encyclopedia on how to be a parent and take care of a child. Some of us, like me, was doing grown folks things before it was time for me to do grown folks things because I thought I was grown in my mind. Because at 8 years old, I've always been taking care of someone. Since 8 years old up until now, my role and my guide in life was to always take care of someone else, whether it was a child or whether it was another adult. I've always been the caretaker and the caregiver for someone else. So when I had my child at 16, to me, I thought it was normal. My family teased about it. When I had my first baby at 14, they were like, she's pregnant. And so people were making jokes, well, how did you do it to make the baby? And I'm like, well, what do you mean, how do you do it to make the baby? You know what you do, how you need to do what you need to do to make the baby. And I did that because I thought I was grown. And then unfortunately, that baby was a stillborn. And then boom, bada bang. Next year, I'm pregnant again at 15. Had the baby at 16. And in my mind, I said, I'm equipped for this. I can do this without parental guidance, without parental support, without family supporting me for having a child at such a young age, providing me the footprints of what to do to have a child. Many of us parents to this day don't have footprints, don't have manuals, I don't like the book, Parenting for Dummies. We didn't have those books growing up. We just figured out, we learned things. And for me, I learned from what my parents was not able to provide for me or give me to what not try to do with my own. And no, I'm not going to tell you it was perfect. I was not a perfect parent because I did not have a good guidance, a good wisdom. But I am grateful and thankful that God placed certain people in my life as I grew up and went on in life. And I'm thinking, okay, I got this. I'm going to do the best I can. And then when my children became grown and became their own adults, I gave them the guidance and wisdom that was never given to me or what not to do in life, you know. But as a teenager, I thought it was normal. 16, 17 years old, I was on my own. I was emancipated in Philly, in West Philly. That's where I was, living an adult life until last year. I went on my first trip out to Mexico. And the family member I went told me, she brought it to my attention. She said, do you know you grew up with your children? I said, no, I didn't. What are you talking about? I've always been an adult with my kids. What are you talking about? And she said, no, you grew up with your children. And I said, how did that happen? How did I grow up with my children? And she said, you did. You were 16 years old. So you still was a child taking care of children. So your kids basically kind of grew up with you. And I'm like, grew up with me? No, that's not what happened. And she said, no, it did. And now as I'm getting older in this life, and yes, I'm learning chapters and journeys and things that I should have known back then. Because I remember going to my mom, asking her advice about something. And she said, you act like I never taught you anything. I said, but to be honest, you never did. Well, I'm teaching you this now. And I'm like, well, Mom, I'm in my 40s. It's kind of too late now to give me this advice. Where was this advice at when I was younger? So when you are a teenage parent, if you don't have that guidance, you don't have that footprint, that wisdom, that knowledge to carry you on while you're raising these young people, these gifts that God gives us, because children are our gifts. Children are our gifts, whether you want to accept it or not. It's up to you what you do with the gifts when God gives them to you. But they are our gifts. And then unfortunately, when they become an adult, they're no longer our kids anymore. They're our adult children. And then when things that happen in life, we have to give them back to who? God. Because they were originally his from the beginning. They were just loaned to us. And however we treated them or whatever we did with them as they were growing up, that's how they're going to live their life. And unfortunately, you can give them the best thing in the world, the best knowledge, the best advice, the best opinions that you can in the world. And then when they become adults, they make their own choices and decisions. So as life kept going on and life kept lifing, life was doing what it was doing, I kept saying, dang, she's right. I did grow up with my kids. So I was like their best friend / their mom / their, as everybody always say, you don't like you their sister. You don't like you their mom. My kids don't like when people say that. But hey, I can't help that I'm sexy and I'm young and I look good for 50 with 3 adult children. Yes, that's me. Toot my own horn. But that was me growing up. That's why I said the 90s was my best times. You know why? Because all 3 of my children were born in the 90s. And I was thinking I was doing grown stuff. But I remember talking to my friend, and we was talking about music that we was listening to when we was younger. And we was like, oh, that's what that song meant? Girl, we thought we was full-blown adults as teenagers. So having a child at a young age, think about our ancestors, our great-grandparents, our grandparents. They had their kids at young ages. Think about that. Just that they had support, probably. Or they figured it out along as they went. But they had kids at a young age, so it wasn't like it was a big old secret. To some people, it is a big old secret, though. But I'm proud that I had my children at the age that I did. I'm proud that I became an empty nester at 42 years old. Bada bang, bada boom. Tooting my own horn. I'm grateful that me raising my children the way I did, they all graduated from high school. They all safely lived life as safe as I could provide for them. They're very intelligent. They're very wise. They have their own families. They're doing their own things. So obviously I did do something right. They're not in the street. They're not on drugs really bad or doing anything that they're not supposed to be doing. They're not in jail. So I think I did pretty good for what I was not given, except those people that God gave me along the way. So as we're growing up and we're lifing, and someone said to me the other day, may the road meet where you are. I think it was like, may the road meet where you are, or something like that. And I said, may the road rise where you meet. May the road rise where you meet. And I said, may the road rise where you meet. And so me, I'm a Google person. So let me look that up. They're whispering me blessings and prosperous. It's an Irish thing. I'm like, okay. I don't even know, guys, what God got me on. I do my podcast. I have a good podcast show called Good Morning Black People with Morgan Rees. That is I. I'm doing Moments with Morgan. That is I. I am the author of Endurance is Victory. That is I. I don't even know where this chapter is going to lead me. But I'm going to give you trinkets and I'm going to give you ideas and give you things that I've experienced and I'm probably still experiencing in my life. Because guess what? Don't let the outside fool you. I still go through my things. I still do through my things. It's just that I've learned over life, as my friend says, I'm very good with my emotions. I'm a master of emotions. I know how to live life and let life live and still try to be a productive citizen at the end of the day. And as the shirts say, perfect is boring. There's nothing perfect about me. There was nothing perfect as me being a parent. There was nothing perfect as me being a wife. There's nothing perfect with any of us. Imperfect, me. That's me. As a parent, we are imperfect. We don't have all the rules. We don't have all the regulations. There's no blueprint to being a parent. And there's definitely not one when you're a teenager. And to all you girls and guys who are teenage parents, don't let anyone make you feel less than because you decided to have a child before it was your time. And it may have been before your time, but it could have been at God's time. to use you for your family to show something that you don't even know what you need to be showing. But yeah, you had a child at a wrong age. So don't let anyone make you feel bad for being a teenage parent. Yes, it's rough. Girls should know right here. But guess what? As long as you hold on to God and he places the right people in your life and they provide you the right guidance and wisdom and footprint, you're going to be all right. It's going to be struggle. How you going to pay your bills? How you going to buy milk for your children? How you going to provide diapers? Better yet, clothing. I remember my youngest granddaughter was born, and I told my youngest daughter, I said, it's going to be all right. I said, you got family now. You got somebody who got your back. Like I told my oldest, you got somebody who got your back. I'm going to do the best I can. And if I can't do, there's going to be other family members going to step in. My granddaughter's 3 years old. Until this day, she hasn't had a want for anything. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't say that with my kids when they were growing up, but I did the best I could. They were not walking around with pro kids and pro players on. They had Nikes, Reeboks. They may not have no Jordans, but I could not afford no $200 Jordans for 3 children. That just was not my cup of tea. So, as a teenage parent, people gravitate to those people. They need us. They need help. They need wisdom. They need guidance. Yes, they were doing what they was doing, being grown and living lifing, but they don't know what they're doing. And instead of you pointing your finger at them and looking down on them because they had a child before 21 years old, help them. Guide them. Lead them in the way that they should go with their children. Don't sit back and whisper and not give them a helping hand. Or give them an ear so they can listen, so you can listen to the things that they're dealing with and they're going through. Because perfect is boring. I'm imperfectly, and you need to be imperfectly you, because I'm definitely imperfectly me. And by the grace of God, I was able to raise three children by myself with God's help and the people that he gave me. Moments with Morgan, teenage parenting. We all need help. It's okay. You made your children when the time that you made your children. Nothing wrong with that. But gravitate to people who can help you. And for those people who see you as a teenage parent, instead of them talking about you or whispering or, well, where's her mom? Or where's the dad? Or why were they doing this? And why were they doing that? Help those people because they do need help. And it's not easy. Even now, women and men are having kids in their 30s and their 40s. It's not easy. There is no book on how to be a good parent. You do the best you can with what you have. Moments with Morgan.